one of the biggest things that we tend to find is people find it very hard to manage the diary and fit everything in, especially if somebody comes to us and says, look, Chris, I want you to do our socials because I simply don't have the time to do it myself. Coming from somebody like yourself who is managing my legal club, the mortgage broker club, you've got other things going on, you've got other podcasts going on. What are your tips to mortgage brokers that are looking to manage their time more effectively?
First thing, and I'll only touch on this briefly, I know it's really, really cheesy, but it is genuinely the truth in that, I've gone public on this in the past. Like, I had a complete breakdown sort of 2017, and understandably so, when people know exactly what was going on.
Good.
But there's in terms of that meltdown, there was some very difficult life challenges, complete burnout. But if you're not getting decent enough sleep, which at the time I wasn't with the kids I have got, but if you're not getting decent sleep, you're not looking after nutrition, you're not exercising, your energy levels aren't going to be great, your mental health's not going to be great either. If you're not doing anything for that or taking any time on that, ultimately it's no different to anything in life, be it a property or be it a human being. If you're not looking after it, and then you want to load it up with immense pressure and just absolutely run it into the ground, a bit like a car. You're just going to absolutely leather it, never service it. You can't be shocked when it breaks. It doesn't matter who you are. So I think on time management and just performance, one of the biggest things I think is you need to start your day at 15 out of 10, because I'll guarantee you, especially as a mortgage broker, the world is going to beat you up. You, as a mortgage broker, you are reliant on too many people and too many variables. You are not in control of so many parts of this destiny. There's going to be frustration. There's going to be some big blows coming in, and you've got to juggle lenders and BDMs of lenders and clients and new leads and referrers putting work into you, and your regulatory responsibilities and the conveyancing aspects of this. And you might be doing your REMOs and deciding which ones you're going to do cashback REMOs on, and then you might have a limited company portfolio you're looking to do, and you want to grow the business, and then you might be doing your let to buys, and then you've got it's a lot for them to cope with. So I would say that you need to take the time out to figure out what kind of thing works for you, whether it be like meditation, Tony Robbins prime.
So So we've got all these strategies, but when you say start the day 15 out of 10, what do you mean by that?
For me, I can only talk about me.
How do you do it?
I can't, there's a couple of people I wouldn't name because it wouldn't be fair, but they came to me saying they were having some struggles and wanted to know a bit about my morning routine, if you want. I know that's dead cheesy because there's so many podcasts that do it, and I think let's give them the benefit of the doubt that they're being legitimate on it. For me, what I mean about being 15 out of 10 is I find that if I don't get up in the morning and get up, I wouldn't say early, get up at the earliest opportunity so that before the school rush begins and other people start potentially taking your time, as rude as that is, I like to get up, drink at least half a litre of water. I then do yoga. I have loads of back and physical problems in that regard, so I don't really have much of a choice, unfortunately. So I have to do some sort of maintenance in that regard. But stretching and yoga, even if you haven't got physical problems, is no bad thing. And then I do something called Tony Robbins priming. So I just find that on YouTube and I go through that process, and that gives that sort of reset to my mind. It really makes me fresh. And then I do a workout, and nothing too strenuous, as mad as that sounds. I'm not like climbing up mountains at 6 in the morning or anything. And I then do Wim Hof breathing and Wim Hof cold showers. One of the great things about the cold shower element is I don't care what problems you've got in your life. Like, I'm talking boiler off, cold tap run, you go straight in cold. And when you are under that cold, your brain isn't thinking about any problems you've got. I don't care how grand they are. I don't care how serious they are. Your brain's only bothered about one thing. So being able to grab that steering wheel and stay calm and stay focused and actually maintain your body temperature is just, I think you're drilling the message in early on that your brain is the brain, but I'm in control of the steering wheel. Like, when I say go, we go. And I think from a mental health point of view, no one wants to exercise in the morning. No one does. No one wants to have a cold shower. No one wants to do the Wim Hof breathing. I'd much rather have a coffee and
go to
play with my dog.
bed.
Yeah, or have more time in bed, to be fair. But ultimately, I think when it comes to time management, discipline and consistency is crucial across all areas of your life.
How do you do that with your diary, Sean? How do you manage your diary? Do you time block it? Do you have certain calls? What do you do?
Yeah, so I'm a big believer in two things. One is eat the live frog, and the second one is a time. So eat the live frog, for those who don't know where the analogy allegedly comes from, I think it was in America. They were looking at who would be great executives, and they do this ridiculous thing where they have boxes with fake frogs in that are ribbiting and jumping up and down. I think they basically say you've got to open the box, put the frog in your mouth. It's got to go fully in and then put it back in the box. So you're not actually eating it like
Oh, I never knew this was
style.
where it was from. I heard of it.
So I may be barking on this. So anyone who wants to
Sounds
criticize
good,
me
though.
for this being wrong, I'm passing it on. But yeah, it sounds good, doesn't it? So stick with it. But this is what I was told. So basically, what they're looking for, though, is some executives who just go, no. So like, okay, well, you've ruled yourself out of the process. See you later. Other executives would pace the room and just procrastinate. They were like, don't want them. The others would just open the box, just go sort of Mel Robbins style, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Do it.
And they were like, that's what we want. We don't need procrastinators. We just need people who go, something needs doing. We're going to do it. And we're going to do it right now in a cool, calm. That's what we need at board level. And that's where eating the live frog comes from. So I think that when it comes to time management, one element is eating the live frog, e.g., whatever the worst things are you've got to do, your FCA forms, your paperwork, your administration. I don't know what it is that you hate doing the most, but I would say lock them in early in the morning and get them out of the way. And so eating the live frog is a big thing that I would highly recommend. The other one is a time. So I would recommend at least every Sunday, or if you wanted to, Friday afternoon, look at the week ahead and block book time in your diary where you are just unavailable. Now, you might want to put extra notes in there in terms of what you're planning to do at that time, but lock that time in. And I also use Calendly a lot.
Just about to say a really good way to do this.
It enables you to have in your diary space where you'll do new client calls, problem-solving calls. You can have that space in daily, and you can then have those links out there so that people can book those slots in. It relieves a bit of email pressure, and but you need to lock in first your unavailability bits, and you'll learn over time what kind of ratios you need and what kind of consistency that you need for that. And I find that works really well. And so there's a time, eating the live frog. Calendly is a great feature for that. But I also would recommend, if you can, something I find really helpful. And if you've got the time to do this, you could do this on a Monday morning, you could do this on a Friday tea time, you could do it at the weekend. I would reverse engineer what you want out of the week so that you make sure you're spending 80% of your time on the things that really matter. There's a massive, across mortgage brokers, law firms and everything, there's a danger that everyone becomes busy fools, and you can spend 80, 90, or 100% of your time on things that should only have 20% of importance. We could all just get lost in emails all day, every day. But what happens to your regulatory responsibilities? What happens to your lead gen? What happens to the existing book of work that you've got? What happens to other things within that space? So it's really important to spin plates. And I don't think you should just figure out which plate to spin whilst you're doing them if you can avoid that, although there is a bit of that.
Maybe plan it out. And
yeah,
that
and I mean,
works with
you
the
can
likes
take
of
that to the nth
Calendar.
degree, by the way, Chris. Just like you could literally sit there on a Friday, on a Sunday morning and go, right, next week, it's really important to me that I'm actually present and I spend 15 minutes with my kids before bedtime. And that's no phone. That's actually the most important thing for me. It's really important to me that I exercise 3 or 4 times next week, and I'm going to lock in exactly when I'm doing that. What are the most important things for me? Because ultimately, if you're not in good nick, you're no good to anyone, mentally and physically. And if you're, and I say this, the nutrition and sleep comes in because of your energy levels. If you're not getting good sleep and you're not starting your day well, the world is going to beat you up. You are only going to go downhill through the course of a day. It's very difficult to catch that and rebuild it up. And the last thing you need is then the sugar crashes and everything else that goes on. And then your temper's going to go, frustration's going to build. And if you live your life every day at 4 out of 10, your quality of life is 4 out of 10. I would rather start at 15, have the rest of the world beat me down to a 7, and I'm living at 7. Whereas I think if you start your day at 7 out of 10, I can guarantee you there are going to be days when just this profession will drill you down to a 2, and you don't want to be living every day at a 2. So I think you'll feel like you haven't got control of your diary, and I used to feel like that. You can wrestle control of that back, and it still work. And I think that is the best way to do it. And a time is going, I know I've got to spend some time on whatever the important tasks are, and I'm locking them in where it's no phone, no emails. I would recommend doing them early in the morning, always a time, because if there's an urgent problem, you've got the rest of the day to fix it. Whereas if you start putting a time in at like 2 p.m. and things need sorting by 5, you've made a bit of a rod for your own back there.
They're really useful tips, and I like the way that you talk about blocking that time, and Calendly allows you to do that. If nobody's ever used Calendly, so it's Calendly, and you can link it to your Outlook. So if you block out time in your Outlook, it'll be blocked out in your Calendly, and you can send someone a link and they can book directly into your diary, and you can have a protection appointment, a mortgage appointment, a catch-up appointment, whatever you want. I think it's like 14 quid a month. Or if you want the free version, you can just do one appointment type. So go and have a look at that, because it's really useful. And I find it saves a lot of time to and fro with clients. And you can put it on your website as well. You can put a live calendar on your website.
I would recommend as a broker that in your email signature, you should have your own, depending on how you feel, depending on what you do with your social channels, and obviously be led by Chris on this one. But whatever social channels you would talk anything about mortgages on, or you would deem you more, the social channels you would want clients being on with you, put them in your email signature and put your Calendly link in the email signature, so the clients can see it. They're aware that you've got it. They can use that link to book a call in with you or whatever. And it doesn't mean you've got to keep it. If someone books in a call that you feel is abusing the process, then you can obviously delete them and manage it the other way.
It's the way forward, I think, online booking.